MMA Roadshow, episode number 563. My name is John Morgan. Cold coffee is with me as well as the one and only hot tea himself, Oscar Willis from the Mac Life. Happy to have you here. And I'm just going to lay it out here, gentlemen. I need everybody to be professionals. This is an upbeat, fun kind of show where we focus on positivity. And somebody in this room right here kind of lost it last week and got a little bit emotional. So I need you guys to not do that this time around.
Try.
So I appreciate it. Yeah, man. It's no, listen. I know we're all kind of still reeling a little bit at the loss of our brother, but man, I will say the outpouring of support has been kind of nice to see. Not as nice as having our man around, but I do hope the family, sees that and just, I don't know, hopes to console them a little bit and see that, bro, we all had as much love for Abby as you did.
Yeah, and I think they are. I know that his daughter was talking to Sandu, saying that they're seeing it or something like that. And if we dwell on it too long, we'll get back to emotional. But my only thing on it that I felt like your guys' aerial show, bonded stuff.
Yep.
When you realise that everyone has a story about Abby going out of his way to be supportive.
Pretty cool.
I think that hammers home what a one-of-one guy that he was. That every single person has everyone's.
And it's the same story.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's universal, right? It's not like one guy's like, this dude was kind of a jackass. Honestly, I didn't know him that well, but it was when I
that's
trust me.
Coming.
When it's our turn, it'll be a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like the memorials be like, the guy he was around.
He
for
got
a long
grumpy, bro. He was grumpy.
You know what's funny is obviously last week was incredibly emotional and stuff, but after we got done recording yesterday, you kind of brought it up, and I wanted to bring it up to you that you were going to be here. Kind of wild. Abby was side by side with you in really like your darkest hour, right? I mean, a time, and we don't have to go through it all, of course. Your boss was involved in an altercation on the underbelly of an arena in New York
that he wasn't
somewhere.
Supposed to be at.
But that was a dark time. I totally forgot. Like Abby was freelancing for you guys that week during the whole Brooklyn incident.
Yeah. So I don't really know how much I'm even allowed to say about the Brooklyn incident.
Totally understandable. I'm not trying to stir the pot too much.
We've already gotten people fired before. Let's not do that.
But obviously, Abby was there.
And that's that. No.
I don't think he was, if I recall, I don't think he was super happy to be there, after the fact. I think he was pretty pissed off. But actually, no, Abby did do a bunch of work for the Mac Life. I said on the Bonds thing that the Mac Life called me on Boxing Day 2018 or whenever it was, and just said, hey, we need you to go cover live events from now on. You're going to be doing it with this guy. So Abby was the first person I ever worked with.
That's awesome.
I think try as I might, I don't necessarily have the same enthusiasm for this sometimes as I used to.
No.
So if you got paired up with the wrong person in that scenario, it could maybe affect how much you wanted to do this job anymore. And I got very, very lucky with who I was paired up with.
Yep.
And actually, I will tell this story, actually. So Brooklyn obviously happened. Amazingly, they didn't want us to attend the event. They didn't want us to attend the event anymore. So I spoke to...
Or like any of them ever?
So I spoke to a member of Connor's team. I was like, what are we going to do? And he's like, I'll just buy you tickets. So Abby and I went anyway, sat in the crowd. But I remember being so paranoid. I sat with my blazer, over my head, and he was like, I think this is a waste of time if you're gonna behave like this. So I do remember that. Yeah. So we still went, but against their wishes, I guess.
That's funny, man.
That's funny. I forgot about that you guys actually still went.
Oh, it's ingrained in my memory
forever. I'll never forget, because we were talking about a little bit pizza and some stuff that we did. I remember we went straight across the street after the little media event. Went straight across the street and we went up there, and I remember looking over, and I'll never forget it, because your face and Abby's face was just sheer I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Why am I editing this? Because I'm not sure. I just need to keep editing because it's the only thing I can do is to focus forward, and your phone's blown up, because I remember the Mac Live team is texting you, and you're texting back to them, and all these
trying
things.
To stop the panic attack. But I remember John got invited to an emergency scrum with Dana, and you were live tweeting the scrum.
Yeah.
And I remember a moment where we were sitting around the table, and Bon was reading the tweets out, and he just went, Dana White says the Mac Life let him in. And I remember being like, holy fuck. And then I remember Abby and I looking at each other like, yo. Maybe we did and maybe we didn't. No one really remembers, but it was. That
was funny.
Yeah, I forevermore, whenever they've gone back to the Barclays, like I can't walk in that building without being like, that's where he was. That's the elevator. There's the Buffalo Wild Wings.
So I think.
And if people don't know the story, it was not.
It was
actually not me.
Don't even know if it was anybody at the Mac Live now that I think about it, but it was. If it was,
it was an associate.
It definitely was an associate. That was funny. I remember that we were all sitting at that Buffalo Wild Wings across the street, having a couple of frosty beverages, doing all of our editing, just talking. I got a phone call, and I don't even think I said anything. Right? I was just like, I gotta go, or did I say?
I remember you just said, I gotta go.
Yeah, you just stood up. I remember you stood up and packed your laptop and went, I gotta go, and we all knew where you were going.
Yeah.
And then
I wasn't slick.
I remember as well.
I felt like it happened more often than some of those like little things. So it wasn't like us were like, oh, where's Jon going? Oh my goodness! Because I remember it happened enough that we were like, just don't think about it. Just we know what kind of it is, and it just happens. Like certain people would get that little nod.
But I remember
that.
I remember as well. It's all flooding back to me now. But I remember there was a hockey game at the Barclays that night.
Yeah.
And they had invited select media to come as like a media appreciation. Somehow they invited me. I don't actually know why I got invited to that because I was pretty new. And I remember getting a phone call from someone at PR being like, "Just let you know, you will not be attending the hockey." And I was like, I was like,
that was kind of assumed.
I think actually the words I was like, "Well, I guessed," I think.
How ballsy would that be? Just roll up, just here to get my pass,
hey
please.
Guys,
Willis?
so you said there was an open bar? Yeah, no, I remember.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they called me to basically say like, you're
in
gone.
Case you didn't,
bro, you didn't need to call.
Sure.
I was pretty aware.
They were.
Wow,
that's amazing, man.
Yeah,
wow.
it's crazy because I mean, like, and that was it's fun stuff like this. It's nice that we can transition into like memories like this that
yes,
because it's been so hard. But there in all this sadness and other stuff, there's a lot of these crazy memories that you're like, you feel just so like blessed that you were there. Like I know that was like one of the worst days of your guys' life, but.
Like, I didn't feel all that blessed.
Like I'm glad that I was there to kind of see because now we can laugh about it.
This is the most I've ever spoken about it, but I'm remembering like Abby and I got in the cab.
Yeah.
The next day we were going somewhere, and obviously you're a bit shell shocked. Like, what are we gonna do? Just fucking roll around.
So that would have been Thursday, right? It was the press conference.
Yeah. So
it was a media day.
They did media day after the press conference.
Yeah.
Because Holloway had come in at the last minute and stuff like that. And I also actually, Abby and I were in Manhattan eating pizza, seeing like Holloway's pulled out now, and like being like, well, we should be all over this, and we can't be, and we were upset. But I remember the moment where it really drove home, like, holy shit, was Abby and I were in the back of a cab driving along, and the guy was listening to CNN radio, and then on CNN the guy went, and apparently this Mac Live let him in. And I was like, on CNN? I remember I looked at Abby and went, that's the visa gone. I was like, fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. So I like.
That's funny. It made it that mainstream. I guess at the moment we probably remembered that it did, but I didn't remember.
I think
that.
I think the problem was because that fight week was also crazy. Right, there was Holloway, and then he fell out, and then it was Ally Kinzer and all that sort of stuff. I think the MMA world, you were still like on the grind, so you couldn't really appreciate like this story's everywhere. I mean, if you think about it, like, I don't want to get into it anymore.
It's one of the most chaotic fight weeks ever, though. Even if you just take that incident out, because I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of forgot it was that week because obviously you remember the fallout and us like going to the. I think we were joking that like we were going to go to the ceremonial weigh-ins and like they were just going to start calling people from the back to face off because like we don't really know who's going to fight at that point.
That's true.
I kind of forgot that was all the same week.
That's what's so funny about this. And we've said this over the years. Like it's those moments. It's those weird. Whatever happens in the universe moments that we remember. Like, I couldn't tell you what fight card it was. I couldn't tell you who the main event was. I couldn't even remember that. Oh, yeah, now that you say, like, fights fell off, you're like, oh, you're right. But it's like these moments, these shared experiences, that's the stuff that I remember that somebody can bring up, and it's clear as day, back in your head. But if you ask me about what happened that fight night, no effing clue at all.
I don't remember the fights.
I mean,
nothing.
Again, all
I don't remember nothing.
Again, you guys are the guys who came before me, and I think you told me it would happen. But it's like it's crazy now the amount of times someone will say a fight, and I'll be like, "Oh, I never even saw that," and they're like, "You're there, cage side. You're watching the fight, cage side. I can see you on the TV." It's like, oh shit,
I guess I was there.
Yeah, so that's been
it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. And it's getting more and more like events. It's really hard. I feel bad. I actually remember more about like the sport when I was a fan than I really do like the last couple of years. It's just been whirlwind. So, What a ride.
Yeah, and I guess if anything, if the whole like Abby thing, something we could take from that is, I always feel bad that we meet so many cool media people on the roads for a lot of events, and I forget a lot of times the people we meet, and then you see them again, you're like, why do I know this face? And then they refresh you, and I'm just like, oh, that's awesome, so.
It's moments like this.
I need to be better about that.
Yeah,
I guess that's a resolution going forward.
I think basically everyone is taking from this like, oh, I should probably be nicer, like Abby. But
yes.
I think moments like this, you do get an appreciation that there is a bit of a traveling circus fraternity here.
Yes.
And some of them transcend it even more. And Abby was one of the guys who just like you said, like, we all have the same story.
Yeah. I love that, man. Universally, like, everybody has the same story. I just think that says so much about his character.
Yeah. Oh, mate, like, for sure. And then, whoever's next is not going to get half of this.
No, not at all. Like, oh, well,
no way.
It was a tough. I mean, it was tough. We lost some big ones last year, and it's kind of, it hits and then you forget, like I forgot when we were starting to talk about Abby, and I remember just because I felt like we just talked about Gerbaisi, and then I forgot Breen happened earlier in the year, and that was another huge one.
Yeah.
Those are, they say a lot of times things come in threes, but those are three big influencing
Titans, bro. Titans in the industry.
In the industry, for sure.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I mean, it's good that you could take the good memories and other stuff, and it's something that ongoing will bring up good memories and do stuff because it gets easier. There'll still be moments, and it comes in waves. But I'm glad that we can reminisce and even joke about what at the time was super painful and frightening for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember us off to the side, I was like, thank God that's not us. We didn't do that. I was like, let's get another beer and let's order more wings.
It's a shame we can't share the security Steve story about what he said about Abby.
Oh, that's the best story ever.
But I mean,
that one has to stay in.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's funny because I think everybody didn't. And I think we talked about it. I think we were still taping when we did it. Like I know right off the bat, I know a lot of us reached out and were like, guys, don't hold these guys accountable. This is not them. And I know we're especially doing for Abby because we were like, yo, we want to use him. He's on our team. You're like, don't hold it against him. And I remember at that time with the way that Dana is so hot-headed, there was some fear that we was like, maybe this would be something long-term. But I think a lot of people went to bat and were like, please don't hold these guys accountable. We were with them. Like, they were right next to us. It was not them. So please don't hold them accountable. And I guess it's kind of.
And then they got the security camera footage.
Then they got the footage. Then they figured it out who did it.
And they realized it definitely wasn't those guys. Crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Crazy.
Miss Abby, you said the last thing I'll say right now on Abby, like you said, it won't be the last thing we ever say about him, but you're 100% right. Like I was talking to Sandu about this earlier in the week. It's like these rolling emotions. You know what I mean? Like you have a good day and you just remember the good times. Think about it, and then just like, it's the sadness comes. And it's weird.
Yeah, for me, I found like the hustle and bustle of New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Like I almost felt guilty that I didn't feel sadder. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like the next day, oh shit, like especially I found that everyone's tributes have been very like emotional. And I don't know what it is about planes, but I fucking cry at altitude. So the way I found out about Abby on the plane as I was flying to London.
That's tough.
Obviously, I'd known his condition, but I got like the sort of like, hey, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
So that was a really horrible place to get the news. And then even on this one, I'd obviously had about 35 vodkas, so I had a little cry on this flight too. Yeah. And it's always a bit weird when people are looking at you like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going through something now. Like,
did you at least have a movie on that you could try to disguise it? Oh, then it gets rough. I'm the weirdo that's cried on movies, and I'm just like, you try to play it off. You're like, yawn, I'm just tired.
But apparently at altitude, you cry more.
Apparently. Well, you're closer.
That's my excuse.
I'm
sticking to
stick to that one, bro. I mean, what are we, like 1,600 feet here in Vegas? It's altitude.
Weepy-eyed,
it's altitude. When you talk about memories, man, we were before we started getting on here, we're talking about this Jones and Cormier thing that's erupting as we're speaking right now. They're going at it. It's always. How long has that rivalry been going on?
Oh, my goodness.
You were going through all the footage. I wouldn't say I forget about it, but you just don't think about those things.
You don't think about it.
And then we were looking through the footage of that the
infamous
MGM
shove
lobby.
in the MGM lobby.
You and I were taping it, and you know what? I didn't even realize that the oft-shown clip, I mean, that's replayed millions and millions of times over, is your shot. You were shooting for the UFC at that time.
It's still UFC.
It's so funny.
And it's kind of funny, because I think at the time when it happened, I remember just thinking, like, this is crazy. These guys are absolutely nuts. What mayhem is this? Sounds like, what is this sport that I'm covering? But to think, a lot of times when we shot stuff, you're like, oh man, this clip is evergreen. This clip could go whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't ever think I thought after that this would be something that would be shown every time that they bring up them forever.
I mean,
it's got to be like the most
part
iconic
of the fabric of the sport,
right?
That rivalry, but that particular moment.
Yeah,
and it's obviously like I don't know. You said but it is crazy still. Like when you get a moment like that. I personally am thinking like, oh fucking shit, this is gold.
Can't wait to get this up.
Can't wait to get it up.
Yeah, and I do. We were saying about the Daniel John stuff. Like, obviously those two personalities gelled so well. The level of competition they had and the level of hatred they had towards each other makes that special. But it does feel like we have been missing one of those.
Yeah,
I do wonder. I do wonder. Maybe not. No, I don't think it's genuine. But like maybe an Islam media could get towards it, but definitely like it's been a while since we've had like high level hatred. You know? That's the point as well. They were the A and B, you know. That's why they were so good. But
yeah, even when you think about when the water bottle instances, and Conor throwing that stuff like
fun.
that gets to something, but it never to the point, and you don't see those clips get used like this one. This was just pure. It just boiled over like these two absolutely despise each other.
Yeah, and it was, I think, because both of them are very good at speaking as well, so they're able to articulate quite why they thought the other person sucked.
Yep.
So I think that really helped. And then
the two of the greatest ever.
Yeah, two of the greatest ever.
That's
true.
I watched. I mean, still, you just sort of think like, "Fucking, where's this now?" But like when Daniel's like, "I'm prepared to die to beat you," and John's like, "Be prepared to do that." It's like, oh my god, dude. And then that's it. Like John is a fucking strange cat, bro. Like to be able to be that cold and then be like, "Man, that's where the column line are." It's just so weird, man. He's just a weird guy.
Dude, that back and forth between them, the cameras, you know what I mean, when they were supposedly off air and that all made it like.
Oh yeah, the one you're talking about the interview that happened right after the show.
But when it wasn't the interview, it was like while they were waiting to get queued up.
There,
or
Daniel? You there?
Are you there, pussy?
Yeah, and then when they go, guys, this is still going to the feed, and then you see John like, oh, and then Cormier is like, yeah, pussy, who's in it? Like, so they knew each other so well. So I'll ask you, do you think they will wrestle?
Oh man!
And do you think they should? Do you think
I mean, if it happens in Real American Freestyle, and obviously Daniel Cormier is a big fan of what RF is doing because he's a big fan of the sport of wrestling, like that would be huge for that organization. Now, I don't know if they can financially capitalize on that. That's the thing is like, do they hate each other so much that they're willing to take less money than they should actually command? Like, I don't know. Like this, I'm just surprised this reality show is happening right now. Like, I'm a little bit surprised the UFC didn't maybe step in a little bit. Now, John, independent contract. Well, I guess even if you're a commentator, you're an independent contractor. But I would think that your contract has limits into where you can appear and what else you can do. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, and what other organizations you could actually be promoting actively that kind of run counter to their own programming.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I remember, so Armin Sarukian was going to do it. I don't remember if he did or didn't, but he was going to do this show. And someone asked Dana, a Russian reporter asked Dana about it at a press conference, being like, do you want him to do that? And Dana basically, I don't necessarily know Dana knew what the fuck he was talking about. Like, but I think he was like, why would I care? Like, it's good for them. It's good for us.
Yeah,
it makes them bigger.
It's true.
But you're right. I do wonder how quiet they had to keep it. Because you would think if they knew John and DC were doing something, they'd come in
do the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, like, let's try and do something.
Let's do something that we can capitalize on.
Yeah, for real.
If two of our people are going to go,
especially with the Paramount money and stuff like that, you'd think that would be the sort of shot in the arm Paramount would want to get for the Ultimate Fighter. But yeah, it isn't. I know a couple of guys who were over there.
Right.
Just coincidentally, and it was like top secret. Like this can't even get out. That's why they filmed it, then announced it. It was like super secret.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't think they do wrestle.
I don't think so either.
I think the asking price and what's on the line, and then if you're gonna wrestle, why don't you fight? If you're gonna, I don't know, just some. The UFC would want to. I mean,
well, that's when they could step in, right? If they wanted to for John. I mean, they do let these guys RAF, but I mean, I do. You still
have to request it, as far as I know. Like you have permission, but you have to get it signed off on.
Yeah, Bo Nickel can go do it. You two, not so much, But I also think as well, being around, like John is the kind of guy who knows what will upset DC more. Me never letting him do this, like never getting a chance to beat me. Like he could hold that over. That's the sort of thing John is not shy of doing.
No, he definitely wouldn't do that. Tom Aspinall could speak to that, I imagine. But man, can you imagine the type of discussions that would be had if Jon Jones actually beat Daniel Cormier in wrestling? Like, bro, I already beat your ass in a fight.
Yeah.
And then I went to the thing that you're supposed to be so good at.
Yep.
You know, the
his
Olympian.
body type is so different than when they fought. I mean, like, Jon is huge.
But also was
strong now. But I mean,
so is Daniel.
Yeah.
But Daniel, like in a different way.
There you go.
I'm actually. I mean, obviously, of course.
I wouldn't put it past that Jones could somehow.
Well, that's
if it makes it a physicality thing.
Yeah.
Technique, it's not an issue with technique, but physicality, that strength. And Jon's not like Jon's a slouch with the wrestling.
Right.
Well, that's
he's not at the.
He's not on the level of Cormier.
He didn't reach the accolades of what Cormier did, but
it's
dude,
not like Daniel's.
that
It's
strength,
not like Daniel's been training.
He hasn't
forever,
Right.
and then also as well, he couldn't wrestle against Stipe because his back was so fucked up and stuff like that. It's not like those injuries went away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's.
He was struggling with Hamzat.
As someone who really,
around.
likes Daniel, I actually don't want it to happen.
Yeah,
because I think
that
it
could
would
be
be
bad
really
for him.
awful. Yeah,
It could be really bad for him. I mean, if he won, Jon would still be like, yeah, but I beat your ass when it really mattered.
Yep.
And if you lost, oh my
I don't know,
God.
man, because Jon's also a freak as well. I think that a loss of any description would fuck with Jon.
Yeah.
Like the stakes would be very high very quickly.
Unless the money makes it that where he doesn't care and he'd be like,
bro,
whatever.
they offered him fucking $35 million for that, and he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So, it's funny. All right, so this kind of steers in a direction I wanted to ask you guys. So earlier this week I was talking to Eric McMahon, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. He asked me what I thought the UFC should do at heavyweight and what they will do at heavyweight. So we mentioned Tom Aspinall. We don't really know when he's going to be back yet. A lot of discussion.
Yep.
Should there be an interim title? Should there not be an interim title? I know you're particularly fond of Tom. I am as well. I think he's a great dude. And I definitely – I look at this very much in like a Pantoja situation, although different because he still has the title, that like if he's healthy – obviously, you don't do an interim title, but if he's going to be out, I don't think it's an insult to do an interim title if you don't know. But then the question becomes, if you do an interim title, who does it? And is it okay to put Cyril Gane in there? Because I'll just lay it around. From a moral perspective, I don't think it's cool to have Cyril Gane in an interim title fight when the only reason there's an interim title fight is because he stuck his hands in the champion's eyes who can't continue. But this is not a sport that's based a lot on moral obligations.
Yeah.
And so I got to think if they do an interim title fight, he probably is at least one half of it, right?
I would assume so, just because it's also the Jon Jones question. Do you allow Jon to come back and fight for an interim and risk him fucking off again? Like that's a big thing about that.
Yep.
I feel like Cyril would get that spot.
I do too.
Although I've just thought of an out there thing, but I feel like Cyril will get that spot just based on name value. But then you're starting to get to the point of like, man, you have a lot of title shots on your resume, and it gets a little bit weird when you have that many shots. Presumably, we all think the other person's Alex Pereira.
Correct.
That seems to be the thing. But I've got a swerveball for you.
Let's hear it.
We're aware he has fans in high places. If Derek Lewis goes out and gets a win in January, could he get an interim heavyweight title fight at the White House against Alex Pereira?
See, we got to that point as well where it was like, because I thought, and I couldn't remember if I was crazy or not. Like, Dana has told us that Donald Trump loves Derek Lewis, right?
Trump called him in the cage after his last fight.
Yeah.
Trump called Derek Lewis in the cage.
Yep. Because I remember everybody was wondering why Dana gave him his phone or why they gave the phone.
That's right. That's right. I forgot
because he was chatting on the phone and they were trying to talk with him and he was just like blah 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 blah. Okay. Just kind of handed the phone off. Yeah.
Dude, I honestly like.
Fucking do it as well. By the way, who wouldn't want to see it?
Do it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, take all the variables out. Like I would like to see Jones and Pereira. Like I still would like to see that fight. I still think it's a massive fight. Do it for the interim. Then maybe Tom. Because I mean, again, if Tom's healthy, then it's Tom. Then we don't do an interim. But we just don't know. But we kind of got to that same place. I think if Derek wins, Derek at the White House for the title.
Brother, can you imagine he slept Alex as well? I mean, so what? The one thing also, by the way, I think Waldo is a problem.
Problem.
I don't necessarily think this is a foregone conclusion.
Yep.
But I'm also pretty sad we didn't get the Verhoeven fight that they were trying to do Derek versus Verhoeven in January. Which actually now, I had heard that Verhoeven and AJ were lined up to box in Saudi in February. Obviously now Joshua's had his tragedy. That fight's probably disappeared for Verhoeven. Yeah. So in that case, does Verhoeven now just come back to the UFC and just fight in the UFC straight away? Like, that could be an interesting, like, maybe you do him and Cyril, Verhoeven versus Cyril, kickboxing fun.
That'd be pretty cool.
And then put Derek over Cyril to get to the title.
Nuts. It's a mess.
Hey, there's some shit. There's stuff happening at heavyweight. Who would have thought?
Crazy. I feel bad. Have you talked to Tom recently?
Yeah. I speak to Tom quite often.
I mean, is he doing okay? I mean, I know he's got to be frustrated, but
I think similarly, like what we're dealing with, there's lots of waves.
Yeah.
I can tell that there are good days and bad. I think it's been like a bit of a rough awakening to the realities of the fandom of this sport.
So rough, dude.
I definitely...
He could do no wrong on the way up. He could do no wrong. And in one night, like, all of a sudden he became like, oh, this dude sucks. And he wanted out.
And it's sad. It's getting to the point, like, dude, he's going to have, like... I don't think I'm revealing too much, but he's having multiple surgeries on his eye.
Yeah.
Eyes, plural.
Jesus.
So people are going to be like, well, fucking, is he faking the surgeries? You know what I mean? So I do think maybe it's a healthy thing to go through, but I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I think Tom is realizing, like, fuck, man, if this is taken away from me, like,
what else?
What have I got, you know? So, and I think when you're feeling like that, then the fans is compounding, and then I think if Tom and I were talking about, like, would they do an interim the other day? And I think if Cyril got another shot at an interim, I think he'd probably be a bit like, what the fuck, you know? So,
well, that's what I said. Like, I kind of feel like really from a moral standard, like, you kind of shouldn't put Cyril in there. Like, the only reason there's an interim is because you had a foul. Like, you shouldn't get that. But let's be honest, it's not the way the business works. It's not the way the sport works.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's crazy, yeah. It's that rematch, should and will it happen, like, will hopefully happen, will feel
huge.
Very tense because it's the first time Tom's ever shown any sort of irritation with anyone.
Yep.
And he's quite clear he doesn't like Cyril. He's called him a cheat. He's actually called him a cheater.
Yep.
So now there's like stakes as an accusation, you know. And then it's like, what if he does it? What if Cyril pokes him again? Then it's like, fuck.
He's just gonna be like wearing goggles all fight week and stuff like that. I'm sure.
It's like Cyril's quote style does seem to have a lot of outstretched fingers, you know.
Yeah.
It could easily happen again.
Crazy, man. That's crazy.
But I mean, you figure at the end of the day, I mean, like this is what an interim title was created for, not these. Let me just pad a pay-per-view and make it have something like this. If a fighter is injured, this is what it was made for.
Well, also,
so I'm not opposed to that, but yes, you're right. The players involved certainly, you want it to do the right thing, but
also this scenario may be justified, but also if you're looking at the business, you know, like. Say Tom's really injured for a long time.
Right.
You know, maybe there's a world they could strip him, but I don't think they would because the interim's a freebie. You know, you get a free title fight and then potentially a unified title fight. Like it's just, it's like a free title
get to
fight.
Have
you know?
that one. But if he defends the title like twice, and Tom's, that would be a damn shame if they had to take it away from him. But
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the only other person that they wouldn't take it away from
was the guy
Jones.
Who wouldn't fight Tom.
Yeah. And I mean, I just don't
Tom
see
must
them.
just be like, who did I fucking piss off in a past life?
I mean, it's just tough because you feel for Tom and you like him, but I mean, it'd be hard for Dana to try to put the same sort of words as for the justification of why they wouldn't take the belt away with Jones. You know, like he's the Mount Rushmore. I mean, tell me he's not the GOAT.
They gave him a year, right? They gave John a year with the Steve Pace. They gave him 18 months, but
I was gonna say, did we breach 2 years? But yeah, it'd be interesting. I think at some point, and I feel unfortunately for Tom that when it comes to the point where they see that he's not able to, and if this year puts into question, I think they easily could. And if we start getting definitely one interim defense is one thing, but if we saw a second one, I could definitely see them saying, you'll get first shot back, but we get the belt's got to go back into rotation.
That would be the ultimate fuck you as well. So Tom Tom defended it once, right, against Curtis Blades.
Yep.
Refuse to defend an interim again. He wanted unified, right, justifiably. If Cyril went out and defended it like multiple times, just as like I'm a better, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to stick it to him.
Yeah, it's that's crazy. He's had a very unfortunate career.
It's unfortunate, man.
I mean, because you almost feel like the UFC then would force his hand and say, well, if you can't fight and you think that the eyes may be done, maybe it's time for you to get away from the sport. And you hate to see him do that kind of thing, but if it came to the point where they're like, okay, well, if you think that your eye is not going to recover, maybe this isn't for you. And and it's not like Dana's the most tactful person to say these polite things, things impolitely. He might just be like, say, well, ultimately our hope is his long-term life and his vision. If he thinks that his vision is not going to repair itself to the point to where he's going to fight, maybe he should move on.
Meanwhile, they're like, sure, bullet, you can fight anytime you want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So bad. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
If you see Tom only getting booked in Abu Dhabi, you'll
know exactly what's going on.
But at least with Tom, as opposed to some of the other guys, Tom's admitting what he's going through. I feel like a lot of the other guys are like, just don't mention it, just don't say anything. Bisping, Shara, they're like, let's just don't talk about it. But because it's there and it's plain view what's going on. But heaven forbid, somebody actually be honest and open with what they're dealing with, and everybody just sort of like roasts them over the fire and holds it against them, and that's kind of what we've seen Dana even sort of say before sometimes. Like, remember when Merab would kind of say all of his injuries and stuff, and he's like, why are you guys just going out there saying what's wrong? Stop talking about it, you know?
One of my favorite clips is when Merab posted a video of himself getting stitches 3 weeks before the O'Malley fight, and Dana's like, why the fuck would you do so
that?
angry?
Yes.
And you're sitting there being like, it is true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Don't give the commission something to do.
You know, the foot, all kinds of shit. Yeah, I feel like Merab's finally, I think, maybe learned his lesson about that, but it's a new year. It could all happen again.
All happen again.
Well, it's a bit weird. It's a bit strange because you're sort of taught in today's world, you have to market yourself. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be available. Look at the biggest people coming up in media are real life streamers. Look at Rampage, just walking around fucking filming himself, going shopping and stuff like that.
Gangbusters, what his social stuff's doing.
So you're told, we want to see
share
all
everything.
Of you. Yep. The moment you share too much, people turn on you and be like, this guy won't ever shut the fuck up. It's like, but you told me you wanted, you actually can't.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Hence why those, we brought up over the time, those fighter sessions where they taught people stuff. They talk about finances. They literally could have just been about social media. Let's talk, guys. What do we think is good to share and what's not good to share? And just kind of help set healthy guidelines. The summits.
Yeah,
I think they do. I think they take the New York cards. They take a few of the fighters to Meta. And I think they do have meetings.
Yeah.
But maybe that's more how best to use social rather than hey, don't post pictures of yourself.
And bleeding. I wonder, and I was going to say, I wonder if that now is just more out of their ongoing relationship with them as opposed to whatever. Because now you see them wearing,
that's where they get them fitted
the
for
goggles.
The glasses. Yeah.
I mean, fucking the glasses, bro. Every one of them.
So ridiculous.
Have you guys started mapping out content planning at the McAlife for the White House card and Conor McGregor's comeback? Have you figured out what day you're getting into town and what?
Yeah, beware opening up side doors there at that place. We might never see you again. You guys will get dragged to some location never to be found again.
I see him shot on the spot. Well, no, but I'm looking forward to getting my gold visa. I think that's probably a prerequisite.
That's fair.
Listen, all signs point to it. I don't, I just saw obviously the Trump family just invested $23 million in one of Conor's businesses.
Wow,
it's a good start.
Yeah,
good start to negotiations.
I hope he does fight on it. I'll just say it right now. I hope he does fight on it. And I know people stand in different places on Conor's relevancy right now in terms of title pictures and I would not be in favor of him coming back and fighting for a title. I know he would like to come back and fight. I'm not
a lot
in favor
of title
that.
fights supposed to be on that card.
You can make a title up. You know what I mean? Just, throw it. But I would not be in favor of that. Although. I wouldn't, if it happened, I wouldn't be like, this is a travesty. It's just a sport. But
it's where we are. Yeah.
But I would he is. There's no question. He still remains the biggest star in the sport. And for this card that is such an insane, once in a lifetime, once ever type thing, it'd be cool to have him
for
on
the sheer
man.
spectacle. And
the
that's the thing. I wish they understand.
spectacle.
They don't need. You don't need to have these title things. I guess if they just want to set their record and say, "Oh, hey, we've never had an event that's had 6 titles."
Just have 4.
Just in terms of just in terms of just the sheer value, the spectacle is going to be enough for the diehard fans and for even the casuals. Nobody's going to care about how many crazy titles are put together. At the end of the day, they just want to see the matchups, and I hope they understand that you don't need to make up some random ass title thing. Just put the fights, and people are going to love it. It just feels like sometimes people are going for these history-making things that they can put their name and say, see, this was part of this. I don't want to talk politics and name and whatever and stuff, but I can see where some are like, just make 6 title fights. I don't care who's even on the fight. Just so we could say we had 6 title fights.
I actually saw Kamaru Usman on his podcast today say, who the fuck wants to see 6 25-minute fights back to back?
I agree.
They'd be miserable. I completely agree too.
Agree.
I mean, we'll be watching them anyway.
3 or 4, if you want, I think 3's. We haven't had 3 on 1 for a while.
Long time.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
So that'll do.
If they go 25 minutes, it makes for a long
and it's outside as well. So then you're in the pitch black of night and stuff. You know, it gets a bit weird. So I think there'd be. Yeah, and as for you mentioned about the spectacle of Conor and stuff, I wanted him at the Sphere.
Yeah.
Mexican theme aside, I thought what you could do with that, with the Irish theme, would have been unbelievable. I wanted him at the Sphere. So similarly to that, I would love to see him.
They could have had some little Irish pubs, like Easter eggs in the cityscape in there. The city was still one of the baddest things to just stare off in the background. So cool. I found myself just watching the darn screen, looking for little stuff.
Definitely how the Sphere dominated conversation for the majority of the year. This every press conference is going to be White House questions.
Agreed.
Yep.
And you don't have to have that many. Like you're saying, you don't have to have all those title fights on, and it'll cost the rest of the schedule around it.
Yeah, I know that'd be brutal. I think, and also I would have.
Think about that.
Yeah, fuck.
You're gonna dump it all right at the beginning, and then just like then what do you do?
Yeah,
all the
paper. Well,
and you got to hold off because you got to hold off going into it, and then how are you gonna program after
it? To be honest, I would be in favor of like. I mean, this sounds like we're just being lazy, but like a 6-fight card. You know, just a special once in a lifetime 6-fight card, bang.
To try to do 14,
and they're
14
all bangers. Yeah, I just think 14, like, fuck, paying fans struggle with 7 hours of fights.
Yeah.
I think a dignitary from Japan who doesn't give a fuck about this is only here because his job is to be. He wants to watch 7 hours of it.
And that'll look weird, right? Because we already know that the way they're talking about it is like 5,000 people, but no fans there. That'll only be dignitaries. The fans will be somewhere else. We know how it looks weird sometimes at T-Mobile in the early prelims. At the White House, and you've got empty stands, and it's just like, this is the event we were all waiting for, and there's nobody there because, like you said, the dignitaries aren't going to do 7 hours.
Also might as well be an Apex show at that point.
They also it's a very expensive Apex. They also I mean, they know all this, and I think we can all agree the UFC usually do amazing on this sort of stuff, but they better like put packages together and think. I know that's their International Fight Week. They're going to be doing that stuff all week. But, man, you're going to hope, like he keeps saying, we can have 85,000 fans out there on the mall. You better fucking hope you get near that, because otherwise it's going to look really bad if it's just empty fields, you know? So you kind of want to entice fans to fly to DC. Like, I hope they do like the IFW stuff. I hope they put packages together.
Yeah.
Because it would be... I'm not a big fan of the 5,000 dignitary thing. That's what it is. And I think, like, aesthetically, it's not going to look that nice either if they have shots of like empty seats. But if you had the like thousands upon thousands of people, that would look cool.
But you're absolutely right. Like, okay, I am about as big of a fight fan as there can be. What sounds good about standing outside? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, okay, I'll buy a cheap seat in Madison Square Garden. You know, I mean, I got the last row, but I'm inside Madison Square Garden and there's 17,000 row. But like standing outside on like the
for 7 hours, not a chance. You know,
doesn't sound fun.
That's why I'd like do a short card. You know, you're obviously going to want to but I think it's not really been addressed. I'm assuming Trump's going to get a say in who's on the cards. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to basically guarantee Bo Nichols on there because he fucking loves Bo Nichols. Derek Lewis obviously is pretty much guaranteed. I mean, I don't know how hands-on Trump would be, but like, you know, he has his guys that they would want to put on there for him.
I'm sure he'd drop a little mention. I mean,
he makes it sound like it's for him, and Dana makes it sound like it's for him.
Yeah, I mean, Dana
it's not
even
about
said,
the
like,
250 anymore.
There,
you know, it's his birthday.
So that makes me think, like, do they pull the trigger on Jon again? Like,
I would. I understand why they can't risk it though. I mean, like, I get why they you know.
To have him.
He's jilted you before. I can't jilt you here.
I think there's an element as well. Like, you don't want to reward the jilting. You know, like, oh, hey, but that thing you wanted, then you fucked us over. We're gonna give it to you. You know, like, so I think there's an element of that.
It's gonna be. It's funny because I was pulling up because I want to make sure I said the right place. But at the Lincoln Memorial, you know, you got that big long reflecting pool, that mirror that you've seen.
Lincoln Memorial,
you know, I was like, oh, don't. Just literally just curled my stomach for a second. But you know, it's so iconic. All these major things. If they had like the weigh-ins or something right there, and then have the people stretch along that pool, and then in front of it, it would be such an iconic shot.
Oh, it's gonna be. It has the potential to be amazing. And as you said, and I think you hit it spot on. Not like they're not having all these discussions too, and they're not aware of it.
And listen as well. I think it's going to be, I mean, like, you see it when Trump goes to a regular event. I think it's going to be pretty heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I think it might feel a little bit like, I think North Korea have done this before. You know, it's going to be very, 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 like, thick on that stuff.
Yep.
But I almost think if you try and avoid that, you kind of make it weirder. It's like it almost has to be over-the-top Americana, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the people who are going to hate on it are going to hate on it anyway.
Bald
so you may as well go,
just flying across,
for real.
You know?
I guarantee.
Let's make sure they're really bald eagles, though. No falcons, bald eagles.
I guarantee there's going to be a flyover. I guarantee.
Oh, you have to.
100%.
You have to.
100%.
Like, I mean,
we love us a good plane flyover, bro. We love.
And Chandler's like, why is it orange, white, and green? Like.
It'd be interesting. But, yeah, I mean, even the stuff that he doesn't go to, every event, I think, with that many people, the security is going to have to be off the chain. I think people are just going to have to have a little patience or whatever, because I know we have to tell ourselves, you know, because we're used to going through securities, do whatever, that's going to be ramped up. But I think any of these outside event things, the amount of security, like, say if they do have stuff at, like, the memorials where it's forward-facing, the fan stuff, the security is going to be bonkers. It's going to be nuts because it is. I mean, it's it's a potential target. So at any point, you gotta do the thing. So when they get it all together, I think people are just going to have to go into that fight week knowing it's going to be very different than anything they've ever done before. So many
media, probably lots of foreign media as well.
Yeah.
And then I even wonder, like, how much access will we get? Of course, the standard, but fight night would not surprise me if we were in a tent off-site, you know? I almost expect, almost expecting it. Because I assume, right, like, okay, so they have the UFC media. With all intents and purposes, like there are the New York Times and people like that are going to take precedent, right? So then it's just going to get really interesting. Like,
you're going to have media outlets that don't ever cover the sport. They'll cover that.
I actually said today, when I saw Dana in December, I said, I can't wait to see like the dumb idiots in the MMA media meet the dumb idiots of the White House media and who's more retarded.
Yep.
That's going to be a sight. I can't wait for it. I am really, really looking forward to it.
Same.
It is going to probably annoy me a little bit how many questions we have and how much. It's already, right? You know what I mean? In the months leading up to it. But
he doesn't know.
He hasn't started making the card yet. He said February. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to it, though. And I do hope Conor gets on it. Does Conor not take a main event spot? Do you think at this point in his career he'd be like, hey, this is big enough for me. I get it if I'm not the main event.
I just don't know. I think they would main him over titles.
I kind of do too.
I just wonder.
He's just the biggest star.
I don't think he would hate a 3-rounder either. I wonder if do you do a few titles?
With all this time away,
that's what I mean.
3 rounds a lot better than 5.
That's what I mean. So do you do a few title fights and then a 3-round super main, like special, you know?
Crazy, man. Crazy. That's going to be a big story of the year, man. No question about it. And I know, like, for all, like, we were just talking about, the Sphere, and people were like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about the Sphere. They crushed that, dude. Like, that was the coolest thing ever, and I think they're going to crush this, too.
I can't really remember the last time when it was a high stake. I'm sounding like such a fucking shill here, but the last time they fucked it up.
They nail it. You
pretty consistently, you know?
And I'll say this all the time. Say what you will about their business practices. It's open to criticism. It's open to debate. What you think is fair, what's not fair, fine. That's fine. But their production, come on, man. You can't even question it.
Yeah. I mean, okay, well, we're getting it off the weed. But, like, I didn't love Canelo Crawford's pacing and everything.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, no, I don't know how much that was
I don't think that was
versus
them, though.
Saudi. Yeah, of course.
I don't think they were calling the shots on that. Like,
Curious, TKO. TKO first boxing. TKO, you going to
go? I mean, are they going to announce it before it happens? Or there's no official announcement.
You're talking about the Zuffa boxing? That's supposed to be
23rd, right?
23rd at the Apex.
At the Apex.
I saw they asked the commission for it.
Did they?
Yeah. Is that
okay, I didn't know this was on.
Huh?
Is that a Tuesday or Wednesday?
Friday night before the Paramount event.
Yeah.
Before the big Paramount debut. Yeah, I'd like to go out. I mean, I'm joking, obviously. It is going to happen the 23rd of the Apex, from everything we heard. May or may not be Callum Walsh in the headliner, I would imagine.
Presumably, yeah.
But they haven't. Is it not weird that it's 2 weeks from now and they haven't announced anything?
But that's
not even on the portal yet, is it?
No, actually, I haven't checked the portal in fucking ages. It's super. I wonder how much of that is Paramount still figuring out how they're going to do this, how they're going to broadcast this. It is. It is getting close. I saw.
I guess you're not going to sell tickets. If it's 2 weeks, you don't care about tickets, right? It's just VIP only.
I'm assuming they're going power slam route, just inviting a load of influencers and shit like that, right?
Yep.
And in fact, I'm just thinking out loud. It wouldn't surprise me if Dana tries to market Zuffa boxing as like the young man's boxing, and it's all influencer led and it's all streaming and stuff like that. Wouldn't surprise me if that's the angle he took, because he does love that shit.
Look at the way that influencer boxing is.
Well, you kind of need it too, because I mean, when they talked about it, they're not grabbing huge names; they're grabbing the prospects of the sport, right? So a lot of these people aren't going to have a following, so it makes sense to lean on social people to help create the buzz about the event or whatever.
I saw Eddie Hearn do an interview, and to his point, I understand. Like, you would have expected this one to be a fucking banger. We are here, and it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Which maybe they don't do it. Maybe they don't pull the trigger. Maybe they think, we'll just wait for a bit, But it just seems.
Or it's just kind of like a soft launch, and they just like, let's get one under our belts, and then we'll start.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't anticipate.
There's so much stuff going on right now with 2 back-to-back what would have been numbered pay-per-views. It's like, just chill out. Maybe they're just like, hey, let's just take it easy.
I'm curious as well if like
and not do this.
If you remember when it's come a long way streaming, but maybe like they're thinking like soft launch this one and see if there's streaming issues, so the UFC the next day has a practice run.
Not bad.
Because obviously I remember the ESPN one was brutal, and that even Pereira and Ankalaev, you didn't miss anything, but that had like the first fight had streaming issues. So maybe they're thinking of it. We'll just use this as a test run on Paramount.
It's crazy. It's so weird to me that it's so quiet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is such a big foray for them into this, and it's
a
quiet.
long time coming.
Time coming. You know, and this is going to be one where, I mean, you know, in mixed martial arts, they're the king, right?
Yeah.
But here, everybody's kind of going, that's not even going to work. They don't know what they're doing. You just think Dana would want to be like, here's my middle finger, bro. Like, I'm going to crush this out park and show you I absolutely can. So it's weird to me.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, you think, boxing at the apex, that's not going to achieve anything. And then you went, well, none of the rest of them are on TV. So they're kind of winning by default by just being on Paramount.
Yep.
I just don't know. I don't, because I'm not a boxing guy. I'm an MMA guy. I'm just curious. Is like boxing still considered a sport you just turn on and watch if you don't know them? You know, like that's what they're going for, right?
That's
like,
interesting.
I don't know if people do. I don't think people do that for MMA, really.
No, you want to know who the interested participants are, and then that's what I'm in.
I think because there's so much content, people are getting more picky and choosy. Like, you know, it's harder to just watch it all.
It's wild. Maybe you should see the whole Paramount era, man. I guess really the Paramount era starts with boxing before MMA, which is weird. I was watching their stuff last night, man. I don't know have you guys messed around with the news channel? First of all, I think it's cool that there's so much content there where the UFC is on Paramount. The channel that they've got there set up is cool, man. Like really looks nice, easily navigable.
How do you interface to it?
Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV.
Apple TV.
I'm on the Roku. I wonder if it looks the same.
I was watching last night, man. I thought it was cool. They had like an intro video where they got like a girl up there like showing the app and how you access it and where you scroll. I mean, they're like literally going like ESPN never did that, where it's like I'm gonna walk you step by step. Here's how you do it. That sort of thing. That was cool, man. Like I think bodes well.
I'm curious. I'm curious about we spoke about this last year, so I don't need to rehash it. But like now it's off pay-per-view. It is unreal value.
Yes,
like $100 or whatever it is for the whole year. It's so good value. Like you could do that. You know, people could do that like sort of on a whim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really curious. Does that boost the numbers? Like people you're going to get more things, or has MMA kind of peaked and stuff like that? You know, that's kind of the question. Curious about that, and I'm curious. It's like ESPN is a sports network. And so they treated MMA like a sport.
Right.
But Paramount is like a content network, you know? So do they start treating it a bit more like a TV show or a movie? And does that, in my opinion, I'm one of the people who think fights need narratives.
Yes, 100%. I was going to say, that might be a better thing.
But that's what I mean. Does it boost it?
Yeah.
Do we get the right...
Because that's what we say all the time, right? Like, this is a
story. We need story. But
it's not really a sport. Yeah. You know, it's entertainment.
So I'm just curious how the coverage is based on an entertainment commodity doing it rather than the sporting one.
We know they just brought over Brian Campbell.
Yeah.
Have they announced any other like hirings or people they're bringing over as part of the Paramount team, or does it? Obviously, I think a lot of people have wondered, is it going to look different on air? All the on air talent stay because that was all hired by the UFC.
Cormier and it's going to be.
That's all staying
everyone
the
you
same.
saw is going to be the same. It's going to be like a Levy, Sanko.
Yeah.
All the deserving all of them, but it's going to be the same.
That's always been the UFC. We control the product. We'll present it. We'll use our people. So that's going to stay the same. But I guess like the people that like I don't know. They haven't really announced any like shoulder programming or other stuff around it.
Seems like they're still figuring it out. And I do wonder as well. Like, obviously they want to get Dana's approval. So do you have a meeting, discuss it, then it goes to him, then he bounces it back, and is it just taking a bit longer than you thought?
Yeah.
That we can get stuff.
All the holidays were going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about before we started recording about even the first Paramount fight. You know, we're starting to see emails, circulate from PR staff from within Paramount. Yep. And one of the things that they're going to do at this at the upcoming event is there's going to be a red carpet. They haven't announced the talent, but they're going to be bringing in some people from the Paramount shows, which is, I know you know some of the shows. Landman.
All day I'm about Landman.
Bob Thorne.
What's the
Billy Bob Thorne's great in that role. I don't even know much about Billy Bob Thorne. Yeah. I'm like, this is this dude.
Oh, yeah, he's a great actor. What's the Stallone one that I know you love? The
Tulsa
King. Tulsa King. So, yeah, you could definitely see Stallone. So it'll be interesting. I mean, they're going to throw their weight around. So I think it's one of those things where I think in the past we've seen more Hollywood actors, and now we see a lot of times just like athletes and occasional
politicians.
But I think and some politicians. So I think now we're probably going to see some heavy rotation of these movie actors and stuff like that. So I think Paramount's going to try to make a big splash. But that's something, I don't know if they're going to try to do that going forward. I think it's just for this big debut or whatever. But it should be interesting to see how they try to put their influence of at least what they think of their world. I think they're always going to lean on the UFC, and they're going to UFC staff's going to like, this is what works. This is what the media is going to try to do. This is what we're trying to do. And then you don't want to counter program too much shit, and there's stuff going on. But it should be interesting. And if that's kind of the first instance where Paramount wants to pull its weight and say, okay, we're going to put an event on, but hey, we're going to bring some of these big names that you normally wouldn't see at a UFC event. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So hopefully there'll be some more forward-facing for the fan stuff as well. Like it's one thing to bring a red carpet and have us as media to possibly interview them and say, hey, look at Stallone walk by us and ignore us. But are they going to bring some people that hopefully then provides value to the actual fans that are going to the fight?
Yeah.
Because then I think then you're really adding something where somebody's like, okay, am I going to reach in my wallet and buy a ticket to go to an event or whatever? I might possibly meet, blah, blah, blah. Insert some fancy Hollywood actor.
Got to do it for the gram. Got to do it for the gram.
But then I wonder as well, I mean, we're getting into like deep waters here, but then I wonder as well, are people a little bit tired of seeing celebrities on their screen because they can't afford to go, ticket prices are so crazy. I'm just thinking of WrestleMania when they showed like a bunch of people and the fans booed them.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they really?
They booed Dana twice.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
At WrestleMania, they showed Dana on. He got booed. And then they clearly thought, well, that was a mistake. They showed him again. He got booed even more. But they booed like a lot of the celebrities. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think fucking no one's got any money, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's tough right now, man. It's tough right now. That's nuts. Well,
Wow,
I'm excited.
I didn't know that Dana got booed. Interesting.
Twice. Twice.
Did he react to it, or
The second time there was a knowing sort of like,
yeah, wave the hand. I see you.
this is not my crowd,
He didn't fully embrace it like the heel, just like, come on, come on.
I would.
That would have been wrestling right
Give
there.
it the old Hulk Hogan. Let me hear it.
I would wager.
That would have been dope.
I would wager Dana was put in front of that camera by fucking gunpoint. Basically, I don't think he I don't think he was rolling to WrestleMania anyway.
That's nuts. He's doing the media rounds right now, right? Dana's out in New York.
I saw him do something with CBS today or something. Again, nothing like really came out of it though. Just the White House.
Just to kick off the stuff, and they're all the. I'm anxious to see it. I do look. I mean, like I said, we could, talk it to the end. I do think it's going to be good for the sport. Like, I just think taking it off pay-per-view is good.
Yes, I think pay-per-view, like as we just said about people having money and stuff like that. Like, it just seems like ridiculous to try and do that anymore. You know, like some of these pay-per-views must have been doing trash. So at the end of the day, like, I've never really understood some people's, like, in their avid hatred of the UFC, like, don't we kind of need it to work for our jobs?
100%.
I'm kind of hoping they pull it off,
That's one thing I've never understood, like, the people in the media that just, like, trash like, I get it. Like, Dana always, to me, was always like, look, man, the thing is like, if you hate something that we're doing, like, say you hate it. But if you like it, say that too. Like, don't just always be the guy that everything that we do sucks. Like, we don't ever do anything right. Nothing. I mean, we don't get any of it right.
But to your point, like, the fact it's off pay-per-view is so monumental to me, and then I find it really, like, you're going to get boxing shows still on pay-per-view, and I don't know how you sell them if you know I can get this for the same price, the whole year for the same price, I
think, did I watch maybe a Scrum or something? I think, did you ask Dana or somebody that, like, I don't remember the answer, but I remember thinking, like, that's true, like, how do they go to market with an $80 pay-per-view when, and not granted, it's two different sports, two different audiences, maybe doesn't cross over.
Yeah, listen, when we're sitting here and I believe Macy Shea's on is the co-main event, maybe we'll start being like, man, they don't even care anymore, That's no disrespect to Macy, but as an example, maybe we do see a downward tick in the quality of the cards.
I don't buy that. And this is one thing I've said all along about that too, is I've seen a lot of that, like, oh, they don't even care anymore. Bro, they're already thinking about the deal 7 years from now. Like, you think this deal is done and everybody's, like, ready to retire and call it a day? Like, they're already thinking about, well, what do we do, when this 7 years is up?
Well, I think, like, there are. It's not like they want their product to be shit.
Yeah.
If you can help it, I think it's more of a. I'm really, like, hopeful as well. I was pretty down on the sport last year. It felt like there was just a lot of misses. It felt like nothing was really coming together. It felt like there was a real low period. I'm really hoping that last year was the transition, and the being off pay-per-view, we will feel. Can it get to 2016? Don't know, but, like, I'm feeling more positive about this year.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be, like, sneaky things that happen, and we'll see.
I do think you're going to have, like, just more fans around the sport because they have access to it, whereas they did more. But can you imagine, like, I've been thinking about, like, can you imagine, like, I do like fighting, but I'm not going to pay $85, which I totally get, understand.
For sure.
But that means you're missing all the biggest names, the best fights, the titles, so it's like, I just watch prelims. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I just think it's just so much more. Now, I'm curious, how will it affect bars?
It's interesting. I don't know because I remember when.
Well, fuck for bars, it's better because they don't have to buy the pay-per-view. But
exactly.
Can you show it? Can you show it?
You probably have to have it commercialized because I remember that actually was a thing when they went to ESPN Plus. Like ESPN Plus, when it rolled out, they didn't even have commercial license, so technically it was illegal to have it on in restaurants. And then they eventually came up with like a commercial distribution. I'm sure they'll still have to pay like a commercial fee, but it'll be. I gotta think it's way less because I don't know if anybody knows that for commercial establishments, you basically had to pay for the number of seats you had in your restaurant, not.
I think it's the fire capacity.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So it's that. It's not like how many people showed up or how many people were there. Like no, you pay a rate based on your capacity.
It's also much easier to illegally show it on Paramount Plus than it is to show a pay-per-view illegally in your bar. If you just have a fucking regular smart TV, you can show it.
You have it. Yeah. I'm anxious. I'm ready. It's 2 weeks away. The layoff is there. I'm anxious. All right, one more thing I wanted to chime in. It's a silly thing, but I did want to chime in on it. The Michael Morales story, which I thought was kind of interesting, the whole record thing. It's a very much like a inside baseball type story, whatever. But I did think it was really interesting because I'll tell you this. When I worked for a brief period of time with the guys at the Underground who were the former owners of Combat Registry, they've since like spun off the businesses and, even before I had gotten there, they'd spun it off. But one of the things that I was talking about was because Combat Registry, the Underground, MMA TV, like that's the official database. But Tapology does like a phenomenal job. I mean, Sherdog laid the groundwork, no question about it. Like Sherdog was the first. It was the gold standard. Tapology came along, and man, they've had like all this development, and it's been amazing. And to me, it's the go-to site. Even at Junkie, myself and Dan Stupp, to this day, I imagine I don't read Junkie much anymore, but you guys still put the fighter records in there, right? Like we don't put the fighter.
It's still a good site.
MMA fighting's pretty strong.
Whoa! And thanks for listening.
No, I'm just kidding. But the fighter records or whatever, we used to use Sherdog as the record keeper for that, and then we actually changed over to Tapology because we felt it was more accurate. So anyway, this whole Michael Morales thing, I had told the people at Combat Registry when I was working for them, I was like, dude, you should find a way to either buy Tapology or partner with Tapology. Like, we have the official database, which is the gold standard, but then we have actually a better product over here in Tapology. Like, can't we put those things together? Like, it would serve everybody better. And they didn't ever make that happen, but I thought it'd be good. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting to see everybody looking at what they do. And I had somebody ask me, like, well, what would Buffer announce? I'm like, well, they can announce whatever the hell they want to announce. They want. But I thought that was kind of a weird thing and kind of an eye-opening thing for maybe people to realize, like, we don't really have an official record keeper, and I think they got it right in the end. I will say I think Tapology got it right in the end.
They changed it to amateur, right?
They changed it. Yeah, they changed it back to an exhibition. I think anything like because technically what the UFC does, and this goes to show the details of the UFC. The UFC petitions the Nevada State Athletic Commission that we're going to hold these contests. These are exhibition contests. Part of the reason that they're able to keep the records private is because they're exhibitions, et cetera. So they go through all these steps, whereas like other places, they're just like, we just held fights and they're exhibitions. But I think they did the right thing in the end.
Yeah, it's not like Dan Hooker's 1 minute scraps are going on anyone's record. You know
right.
what I mean? I actually, Nolan King does a bit of work for Tapology.
Yep.
When this started, I texted him. I went, does this mean I fought it as a pro now? Like, did I fight as a pro in that time?
I love sending him shit to like update on whatever. He's so good about that.
Yeah.
For a while there, I think they were kicking him a little something. So I was like, hey, I hear about this fight. Throw it on there so you can get money or something. I don't know if it ever worked.
But
I sent him all of our CFSCs like as soon as we have results, just to like
because I never know who does that stuff.
You can not tell them like, dude, if you can do it or forward it to everybody like that way, it's just right here for you.
It's a bit of a thankless task.
Yes.
And then the moment they tried to, I will say it was a weird move to do.
Yeah,
I'll just say
that.
It
was a little weird.
I basically think someone saw the fight on YouTube and went, "No, he fucking lost." It was a bit strange to do that. But yeah, like that was the moment they did anything different, and everyone like shit on them for it. But I do think it was. Yeah, I don't quite understand how they got to pro.
I would like to see them have the official content. They do such a good job. I think they screwed up in this situation. I think they got it right.
Yeah, but
I think
that's important too, to screw up and then get it right.
And get it right. But I would like to see them get the contract for the official record keeping because it's just it's a good site, and they keep adding and they keep making it better and they keep changing it and they keep, you know what I mean, like. I think it should be the official database, and instead we have an official database. And no disrespect, I'm still friends with the folks over at Combat Registry, and Combat Registry actually handles the UFC rankings. The BKFC, they did Bellator before. They handle all that stuff, and so I don't want to take away from their business, and I'm not trying to. I never want to impact somebody's livelihood and their income. But I just think that the interface and the site is so much better at Tapology.
Getting better as well.
And getting better. I think they should find a way to come.
That's where I always go.
That's it.
I think if I was on Fight Week and pulled 10 other media people there in the room, who's your first person, first site you go to? It's Tapology.
I live on that site, man. I will say I'm pulling it up right now because this is funny. And I asked Nolan about this one time. You know how they have like the organizations down below the fighters where they break up their regular. Sean Brady, for instance, right? Sean Brady, his record in the UFC is 8-2, and then the other organization they have is he's 1-0 in LFA. I'm like, he was 8-0 in CFFC. How did they get one?
Be 1-0.
Where are we at on there, bro? So you screwed up with Michael Morales and you screwed up with Sean Brady. Get it right.
Speaking of, I'm glad you brought up CFFC. I was doing some searching, and because I got pinged with an email talking about the Hard Rock and how the construction is moving forward, and I found some numbers. So when it is said and done, it's supposed to be roughly 660 feet tall. It's still the stratosphere will still be the tallest thing here. Going to be 42 stories in total. And how many? It said the lower.
That thing is huge.
The upper tower will hold up to 600 more rooms and suites. So I forget somewhere there's the actual. Okay, 3,600 total rooms, 175,000 square feet of casino space, some retail shops, multiple pools, 2 spas, a variety of dining options, and music venues. It's going to be bonkers. I saw a picture image. It's a rendering, and I'm going to put it as the thumb for today's episode because I was hoping we talk. It has these lights that are shooting upwards that make it look like strings. I don't know if this is just the rendering. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense as opposed to
actually building the
neck all the way up. But I know even with the Luxor, years ago it used to be brighter, and then it was so bright I think it affected, like, it was like people in the planes and other stuff, so they lessened it. I think it's like you can easily, like, the guys up in space are like, oh, there's the Luxor. You know, so they dialed it down. So I don't think this will be too crazy. But it should be interesting. If you haven't been
to Vegas in a long time, when you get here and see the Hard Rock, you're going to be shocked. Anytime I'm over the strip and see that,
it's huge.
It's fucking huge.
It's going to be massive. I'm excited too because you said so. The gentleman that's running the overseeing the construction is in charge of the whole property. His name's Joe Lupo. He's the president, and he was actually the president of the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. So Rob Haydak, my boss, did a lot of business with them and became friends with them. And they'll actually have dinner and stuff when he's in town. So I can't wait to go over there and see the opening and see what he does, because he did a great job with the Atlantic City property, and this one's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, they mentioned a little bit how they got rid of the gold-tinted windows, and it's going to be more of a sleek blue glass, a more modern look. The gold was so iconic, but I can see where if they're doing something along those lines, you know, where they're kind of switching up a little bit.
So I was driving there the other day. Oh, it was because we were going down there for Christmas Eve to have dinner. Yeah. And so the construction of the Guitar Tower obviously dominates the strip right now. But yeah, I didn't realize. So for anybody that does, the Mirage is the property that was. They bought the Mirage. They shut the Mirage down. First thing they did was rip out the volcano to build. That's where the tower goes. Then they're remodeling the existing tower. So the existing Mirage will stay there. But, like, I honestly think, like, remodel is, like, I was driving by, they stripped everything. Like, it's down to, like, just concrete frame. Like, I thought they were just going to go, like, we'll rip out the carpet in every room and we'll lay that down. It's like, no, like, the frame of the hotel is there, but it's down to concrete, man.
They should make it
I honestly didn't realize they were reusing the Mirage. Because it looks so different.
They should make it look like a giant amp. Like, just build an amp so it looks like a guitar leaning against the amp.
See, I always bemoan the fact that Vegas casinos are all a bit samey now.
Yes.
I prefer the fucking tacky theme.
Yes, the
so
theme
this is
stuff.
This is much more that way.
Yes.
I prefer that. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I can see where a lot of people are like, but yes, I like the tacky. I like the theme. I mean,
and it's cool stuff, dude. The Hard Rock in Atlantic. I can't tell you how many times I've been at the Hard Rock in Atlantic City, going out there with CFSC.
Because you were hammered, you don't remember.
That's part of it. That's a big part of it. But I still see like memorabilia and stuff in there that I've never seen before. It's like cool shit.
Well, they rotate. I think they rotate it around properties, right?
Yeah. Very cool stuff. I can't wait to see that property. We're going to be doing a lot of business with Hard Rock this year, so we'll have some announcements to be made with CFFC. So I'm glad you brought up the Hard Rock. I'll give a little tease as well. We've still got a couple weeks till we're back to MMA, but earlier this week I drove out to Phoenix for the day. Sat down with John Crouch for their Between Rounds podcast. Like, he does his own podcast. I've always been a fan of John Crouch at the MMA Lab. I think he's an awesome coach. And
did you sit down for it, or did you crouch down to it?
Kenny!
We did sit down. But he was nice. He asked me if I'd be on the podcast, and I said, yeah. And he's like, maybe I can, I'll find a day that I can make it out to Vegas. So I was like, bro, I'll drive out to Phoenix. Like, I'll go out to Phoenix. Awesome. I hadn't been there in a while. Yep. I didn't even think to ask him because they're in a different location. Like, he was like, have you been here? I was like, I've been here, but I was like, I haven't been to this gym, so I don't know how long ago they moved it. But I mean, it's been years since it might have been like WC days the last time I was out at the lab. Wow. But anyway, we sit down, and I know for most of the people that we talked a lot about my career and my story and all that. So a lot of people that listen to this will probably already be familiar with a lot of it. But I really enjoyed the conversation, man. I like John Crouch a lot. I think he's one of the most probably underrated coaches, maybe. Like, I mean, doesn't get not quite the notoriety, I don't think, that, maybe a Nick Sick or a Wood or somebody like that, but I think he's as good as any of them, man. I think the way he handles his fighters and stuff. So it was an honor to talk to that, so check that out.
That's cool.
Awesome. So what are we doing the rest of the day, fellas?
We're going to get a little workout on?
I need to go check on my dog.
A couple of 12-ounce curls? No?
You're going to check on the dog and then come back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no.
12-ounce curls?
Yeah, well, that's
the kind of workout, no other workout.
You got to calm down.
I was going to say, we work out like that. It's done. Yeah. We're not getting any work done later after that.
The Hard Coffee Gym still going strong in 2026?
Yeah. Well, it's getting strong. It's funny because, like, now, even dealing with, like, around over the switch of the new year and stuff like that, I've been working the heavy bag more. I think we all had some frustrations we need to get out, so I found hitting the heavy bag helped a lot. But he, when Oscar was like, dude, we should tape, and then we should get a little workout, and then he's like, I want to hit some mitts because I know Oscar wants to get back into focus of the MMA and kickboxing.
You going to take another fight?
My worst habit, and it's happened so many times, is I get hammered on planes and then start trying to get a fight booked. Like texting Feldman and be like, oh, I'll fight this guy, I'll fucking do it. Like, I just keep doing it. Yeah.
So we're in the process of trying to put something together now?
But early days.
Yeah?
But there's a new promotion sprung up. I was like, I know the owner of that. So I made a couple of texts, have a meeting in a couple of weeks. So I need to I haven't trained in a long time. So let's
future fight camp coming, future news.
So we'll get one in the spring and then the White House maybe?
For sure. It's actually me and Gable. It's actually me and Gable Stevenson.
Yeah, he stands no chance.
Oh, that's
just
great.
Wrestle him. I hear it's not that good.
Yeah.
Maybe Jon Jones can teach him how to wrestle, huh?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Take him under his wing.
It's good of you to fight a prospect and not somebody that's established.
Well, that's an undefeated veteran. You got to
Fucking love. Well, stay tuned to that. We'll look forward to hopefully some fight news, and we look forward to the UFC being back. In the meantime, everybody enjoy the last bit of vacation, right? Because the MMA scene is going to be going on hot and heavy starting January 24th. So take it all in, and thanks for listening.